So good morning. My name is Indigo Lewis, and I've had the pleasure of serving this congregation as the Director for Lifespan Religious Education. So as much as I love a good January 1st New Year, August has always been the real marker of new beginnings. If you currently have kids in school, or maybe about to enter your own school, you might be with me on this one. So even though it's still hitting 90 degrees outside, the first day of that new school year means we've officially closed the book on summer and started down a different path. So today we celebrate new beginnings for our children and youth. We're a short 2 weeks into what this new school year will bring. And I bet that there have already, in those 2 weeks, been moments of relief, a teacher that clicks with you, a friend you're excited to see in the classroom, maybe an interesting field trip to look forward to down the road. But I also think that there have been times of anxiety and maybe some disappointments too. So some expectations around homework you weren't expecting, managing a complicated schedule that's new to you, no friends in the classroom. New beginnings can be complicated. But one thing is for sure, who you are going into this school year, or really into this year as a person, it will be different for you at the end than where you are right now. There are other new beginnings and endings that we will celebrate together as a community today, and that is the transition of leadership in our religious education ministry at Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. So my time in this role began in August 5 years ago, and now it is time for me to say goodbye to this community. Over these past 5 years, we've done incredible work in partnership, and I can't express my gratitude deeply enough for the support that this congregation shows for RE. Thank you to our volunteers who teach on Sunday mornings, who spend their weekend at an OWL training in order to teach OWL to our RE participants, who volunteer as coming-of-age mentors and advisors, youth group advisors for our senior high youth and our middle school youth, snack parent for summer camp, brainstormers and wranglers for the annual youth worship service, chaperones for learning trips, Mystery Pal participants, organizers of fundraisers, LEAP Council, and RE committee members. If you think that's a lot, it is. I want to say that our last year before COVID, we looked to have 40 to 60 different volunteer positions just in RE alone. This is a big undertaking, enterprise. I've had the pleasure of working with so many of you, and the gifts that you share with our children and youth are so significant. I say that not just because of the quality of your talents and what you bring to the table, which is always outstanding, but because in my 16 years of working in Unitarian Universalist congregations, I've had the privilege of seeing the full arc of our children and youth move through our programs, from preschool through elementary, into OWL, into youth groups, coming of age, onto regional and national youth gatherings. And over, I see our children and youth grow into and absorb the values of kindness and inclusion and justice that we teach and model, and they build a foundation for themselves that they can ground themselves and they take it out into the world. And I see that over and over again with real children, real youth. This is incredibly important work that we do. So endings are also about beginnings, and I struggled with this adjective because it does not say enough to say that I'm excited. I'm excited, I'm honored, I'm thrilled that as my time with you closes, Marina McGregor's time as your Director of Religious Education begins. One of the great joys of my time here has been to work in close collaboration with Marina. And when I say this, there's not really a program that's been put on in the last 5 years that hasn't been a collaboration, that she hasn't had input into or I haven't had input into. And I know that she will continue to steward this ministry with her exceptional talents and her so large heart. But she will need your support. So when she asks for a volunteer to help with the RE program, please say yes. In fact, if this were the year to make a commitment to the RE program, even if it were just for a singular year, do it this year and let her know. So one of the big events that I got to be a part of as my time with MDUUC was coming to a close was to be a part of taking our high school youth up to General Assembly in Portland, along with Marina and Nasa and Davina as our youth advisors. And it was a trip because we had to navigate a lot, COVID being one of those things. And it was just a continual decision-making process. And so we adopted for our theme song the hymn, Wo Ya Ya, because we didn't know where we were going. We just had a lot of faith that it was gonna happen, and it did. So in the spirit of new beginnings and not knowing where the journey takes us, I invite us to worship together